Hi guys, so welcome back to my YouTube channel. I haven't been available for a while, but now I am back, hopefully to be more consistent. So today I am focusing on, should you have a job or should you be working for yourself slash having a business? I'm just going to be talking through the pros and cons for each one, and hopefully you can make your own informed decision as well. So let's get right into it. Now guys, there is no right or wrong about what you should do. I mean, it's your life at the end of the day. However, what kind of motivated me to do this video is because there's been a lot of slander, with the 9 to 5. So a lot of people saying, you should be on boss, don't work a 9 to 5, don't work for anyone. But actually, I'm here to kind of hopefully bring both sides together and just talk about the pros and cons, like I mentioned as well. So like I said, there's been a rise of people saying be your own boss, people putting CEOs in their Instagram bios and things like that, and I feel like it's gone a little bit overboard, especially with the pandemic, just last year as well. So for example, those who work 9 to 5 in an office job that they're able to do, that they're able to work remotely, those are the type of people that were able to kind of work throughout the pandemic and were almost virtually unaffected, which is just one of the most recent benefits as well of having a 9 to 5 job, versus, let's say, having your own restaurant, for instance. So you kind of have to look at both sides of the story here. You can't just look at one and ignore the other completely. Now, I'm all for being your own boss and also entrepreneurship. I mean, my mother, she had several businesses, from takeaways to hair salons, to a lot of things, to nursing agencies as well. So that's the kind of world that I come from. Now, I currently even have the 9 to 5, and I'm just in the process of launching all my side hustles, which I believe that they'll definitely take off, and I'll be able to kind of quit my 9 to 5 and kind of focus on those as well. So that's my personal long-term plan, along with my investing, of course. However, it's like I said, it's not for everyone. However, let's start with the positives of why you should work for yourself slash have your own business. So the first thing is you're just simply tired of having a boss. So you're tired of having someone detecting your schedule, detecting what you do in a day, someone breathing down your shoulder. You just want to have the freedom to do what you want to do when you want to do it and how you want to do it, without so many restrictions and working under people that you haven't chosen to work under. That's quite a big problem, of course, with having a job, not just 9 to 5, but any job. So you could be having a bad boss, or your team could be an absolute nightmare for you, or you're just not a good fit for the culture of the company. There's so many reasons why you could be sick and tired of having your 9 to 5 job as well, especially when it comes to to being your own boss. So that's a big reason and a valid reason for why someone should be their own boss, if they're just simply tired of some of the reasons I just mentioned there. Another reason could be, like I said, similar to my last reason, but you just want to have this flexibility and the time freedom that having your own business comes with. So let's get this straight. When you have your own business, especially at the start, you're going to be working way more than your 9 to 5. When you have your own business, when it's 5 o'clock, you can't just clock off and say, oh, I'll forget about it, I'll see everything tomorrow. You can't do that when you have your own business, especially at the start. You need to work throughout the night if you have to, and be there again in the morning. You're the first person in the office, last one out the office. So when you have your own business, of course, at the start, you can invest a lot of time. But however, when you eventually scale the business and delegate tasks and kind of have systems in place, where you can have other people managing certain processes for you, then you can actually you'll be able to kind of step away from the business or the day-to-day runnings, where maybe you're just there as an advisor. So that's quite a big reason, and especially now with the rise of remote working and people backpacking around the world with their laptops, digital nomads or whatever they're called. So those type of things, they are real. People are able to come up with something, especially online, and be able to kind of travel the world and just work online as well. So this could both work. For example, let's say you're a freelancer designer, you're a graphic designer, you have a few clients that are paying you, let's say, I don't know, a few £1,000s every month or whatever it is, or projects or web developer, whatever it is. You can have a few clients, and then you can be anywhere in the world, as long as you're able to kind of obviously have the internet connection and do your work, and obviously communicate with the clients as well. So that's kind of like a freelance model, or you can even have like a side hustle, or you can even have, let's say, a full-blown out business that's online. So for example, you can have e-commerce. You don't need to be in a specific area or location in the world. You can also have things like Amazon FBA, again, so many things. You can have digital agencies. There's so many opportunities now where you're able to work for yourself, and you could be anywhere as well, location and even time freedom as well. So that's a huge reason that people may want to work for themselves, and obviously what the time gives you is something, you can spend a lot of time with your family. You can do what you want to do. Maybe you can go and play golf every day for 2 hours in the afternoon, or whatever it is that you want to do. You just have a lot of free time, and you can actually do what you want to do, or you can volunteer, you can do whatever you want. So I think for me personally, that is definitely the biggest reason when it comes to working for yourself, is definitely the time flexibility. The third reason could be that your creative juices are being blocked, or there's some kind of institutional structures in place that just mean you cannot really do a lot of things. You can't be your creative self. You feel like you're being cramped in, or you're being boxed in. Now this is especially true when it comes to the very corporate jobs. So think of your IBMs, your Microsofts, those type of big companies, the traditional companies especially, where you just go in and there are processes in place. They're not really efficient, and your ideas, they may listen to ideas. However, it has to go through like an entire hierarchy, and for it to kind of come to fruition, it's kind of like unlikely, no matter how good the idea is. So those are some of the things as well. Even from my own experience, but luckily I currently work for a small company. There's 600 people, so when I voice something, it is definitely listened to, and the decision makers definitely hear what I'm saying, and half of the time at the moment so far anyway, some of my ideas have been implemented in as well, which is quite good for me as well. So one way to kind of go around that in a way is to actually work for potentially a startup where you can have a bit more hands-on and do things slightly outside of your role as well, if you wish, and kind of explore a little bit outside. But if you're in a corporate job, then you're not going to have a lot of creativity, and if you do have the creative juices running, it's almost like being in hell every single day. You're very creative, but you just cannot do anything. That is a very good reason to also start your own side hustle / business. So the fourth reason is that you can make a bigger impact in the world / generate more revenue outside of the job that you have if you're doing the same thing but on your own. So as an example, what I mean by this is, let's say you are a digital marketing manager. Then you realize that you're very good at your job, and you've got enough experience, and you know how much the clients are being charged for your services at the company. After a few years, what you can do is you can actually leave the job that you work in, and have the skill of digital marketing very honed in, and then maybe you can start by yourself and maybe do a freelance model where you actually look for clients yourself, maybe some that you might have worked with. You might have to look into that legally, because if you steal clients from your company, that could be problems there as well. But anyway, you can have clients, and then you can go to them directly and say, hey, I've been a digital marketer for 5 years and I can help you do X, Y, Z. Let's work together. And that way you go and direct to the client, and you kind of freelance. And if you grow that even more, you can actually turn into an agency and so on and so forth as well. So that's what I mean when I say there's an opportunity to grow revenue way more than what's happening right now. You see kind of like an opportunity or like a gap in the market. But yeah, this applies to various jobs, even consulting as well, and many more different things. And if you see that this could be kind of like an avenue for you that you'd like to take on, then again, a side hustle / business is definitely a good way to go. So those are 4 reasons of why you should probably have your own business / side hustle. So let's go into the other side of things. Some reasons why you shouldn't have your own business, at least not for now. Number one thing is something which is not really spoken about. So it's kind of, people don't really think about it until later down the line. So it's basically, when you're freelance or when you're a business, and let's say, I don't know, you build it up, whatever, for a few years, 1 or 2, 3 years, it's going well, and obviously you have some months or some years where it's better than the other, and it's always fluctuating. Now, when you actually come to needing a mortgage to buy a house, you're going to have a bit of a problem with lenders. So obviously, This is slightly different to where you'll have, like, let's say, a guaranteed income from a job, where they can predict how much you're going to be paid, and how much you've been paid in the past, and so on, and your job security, and so on and so forth as well. So when you're self-employed, it's really hard, to have your finances in order in terms of getting a mortgage and any other loans as well. So you just need to be a bit careful. If you think that you're going to be buying a house in anytime soon, then maybe it could be slightly better for you to actually maybe stay put in your job for the time being, and then get the mortgage or whatever, get your house over the line or whatever it is, and then you can actually go on and quit and then start your business as well. Brings me into number two, which is kind of very linked. So number two is that you need steady and consistent income for whatever reasons, because life, right? So what I mean by that is, obviously, when you have your own side hustle, like I said, let's say you're a freelance, let's say you have 10K a month, let's say you are a web developer, so you have 10 clients that you help out a month on average, and they give you 10K a month. Fantastic. However, obviously some months you're gonna have a few clients dropping off because they just don't use services, or maybe there's something going on with the economy, so people are not as willing to spend on those type of services as they typically would. That could be quite a problem. So let's say you drop to, let's say, I don't know, 6 or 5K or so, which means that your income has just literally halved. Now, imagine if your expenses were 10K. Now, they haven't changed, but your income is obviously halved. So there's quite a big difference there, and you can get yourself in trouble quite quickly. Now, what a job allows you to do is obviously to be very comfortable. You know how much you're getting paid a month. You can actually plan for things slightly better. So when you're doing your job well, you're not going to expect your income to be slashed by 50% like you potentially could if you have your own business. So yeah, that's another reason why you potentially should wait on quitting your job if you're thinking about it as well. Now, another thing as well, just to point out on the same point, is that of course, when something happens in the economy or to the business, the workers get paid first, and then whatever's left goes to the owner. Now, this works both ways. Now, when it comes to profit, obviously the workers get paid obviously a tiny percentage, and then the owner or founders or whatever it is, they get paid obviously the massive chunk of money. However, when it comes to in a downturn, obviously when the business is doing bad, the workers still need to be paid, and again, as an owner, then you're the last to get paid. Sometimes you don't even get paid sometimes. So that's just another thing to take into consideration. Number three, you don't have a lot of time. So let's just say you're a busy working man, family man, for instance, or working mother, potentially, and you have a lot on your hands, and you have your 9 to 5, and you're also looking after kids or anything else like that. For whatever reason, you have other things in life, and you just don't have time. So that's just not a good time to be having your own side hustle or business, because when you don't have time to do, especially the business, it's just not going to take off. You kind of need to dedicate and just ignore everything that's happening outside and just focus on the one thing and build it up until it starts growing at the very least, before you're kind of more hands off on it. So if you don't have a lot of time, then it's probably not a good idea to go into a business. Maybe sort yourself out first, and maybe whatever, in a few years, when you're in a better space, then you can obviously look into that. Now, the fourth reason is you like working on projects. So for example, like I said, you could be a web developer, graphic designer, digital marketer, consultant. You could do all those things, which is fine, and you love your job, you love your profession. However, you just don't like the fact of selling your services to other companies. So basically, you don't like being the salesperson, you don't like selling your web developer services to other people, or you don't like selling your consulting services to other people, and so on and so forth. Now, this is, if you don't like selling, then you probably shouldn't be starting your own business, because it's all pretty much sales. When there's no sales, then there's no income. So of course, in a business, you need to sell your services all the time. You need to market yourself all the time. So if you're not prepared to do anything else outside of your core skills, then you shouldn't really be starting a business. Because let's face it, when you have a business, whatever it is, even if you're opening a bakery, well, you're actually going to be spending more time doing accounting and doing your marketing outside of the actual baking. So guys, just take that into consideration. It's quite a big thing. Most people don't like selling, but I personally believe it's a really good skill, and I think everyone should learn it as well, regardless of their profession or career or whatever it is. Fifth reason is you like order and consistency, and everything to just be flowing in one place and everything kind of laid out for you. So you like going to your job on a Monday and you know exactly what you're going to be doing, and it's not really going to be changing outside of those lines typically. Now, of course, when you have a business, almost every single day is completely different. Maybe today you could be just in client meetings the entire day. Maybe tomorrow you're having a meeting with a lawyer or with your accountant or whatever it is, or you're meeting suppliers or you're interviewing people. So every single day is almost different as a business owner. So that's something to take into consideration. And if you like order, and if you just like things which are completely planned out for you, very structured, not really changing, then again, you should probably consider staying in your 9-to-5 job as well. And again, on the similar point as well, of course, if you don't like additional responsibility, then again, a business is something you should probably stay away from for the time being. Now, of course, with the business, like I was mentioning in my earlier points, it comes with a lot of responsibility. You're employing people, they have families they need to feed, they have their own lives they need to sustain as well based on your business doing well. So there's a lot of pressure on you to do well as a business owner. And again, if you don't have that responsibility of the company's vision, of your employees, of doing everything as a whole spectrum, then you probably should reconsider this. So guys, those are some of the reasons that I believe that maybe it's good to have a business, or it's good not to take the plunge for the time being. Now, I'm personally all for doing having your own side hustle at the very least, slash your own business. Now, I believe that this is the only way that I feel like people can actually eventually do what they really want to do truly. But however, I also understand that there are people who are very happy in the 9-to-5 jobs. They just want to work in that job, they like what they do, they like the team, they like the culture. They're more than happy to just kind of just sell along and live like that, which is completely fine as well. I mean, those people are needed in society as well. I'm sure the world would be different if everyone wanted to be a business owner. However, I just kind of wanted to make this video, like I said, because I feel like the 9-to-5s, it's really being slated just in general, especially on social media. It's almost being looked down upon for having a 9-to-5 job. But also, I believe it's quite a privilege as well if you look at it slightly differently, with all the reasons that I gave as well. So, guys, hopefully you're able to make an informed decision, and that's giving you some food for thought. But however, if you're in a job and you're considering quitting to start your own side hustle or business, I would just maybe suggest that regardless of what situation you're in, maybe dedicate a few hours a day or a week towards your side hustle, and then maybe when it picks up or something like that, or when it replaces your salary, then you can make the plunge. So guys, hope that helps, and I'll see you on the next video.